On a brisk October evening here in Chantilly, Virginia, two undefeated Fairfax County teams take the field, with the Virginia High School football playoffs looming right around the corner. It's Centerville versus Westfield right here on DMVSTREAM.com. Hello, everybody. Yosef Nasser here alongside my broadcast partner, Brandon Green. And Brandon, this is a great game we have in store for us. Both teams undefeated, but Westfield enters as the favorite, having won 31 straight games, the past 3 state championships. What can we expect to see out of this one?
Yeah, and for this Westfield team, it's going to be a different team than we ever seen, Joseph, because they have somebody under center in Noah Kim that could throw the ball around a lot. And when you have a weapon like Bizette Woodley, you just have to throw it up and just let him go get that football sometimes.
Now, if Centerville, who's coming in as the underdog in this game, is to pull off the upset, what are some keys for them in this matchup?
That wing T offense. We spoke to Coach earlier in the week, Joseph, and he says they have smaller linemen, so that wing T is what is going to help them get those angles, but the big plays, they're going to have to make those and stop those when it comes to Westfield. And sustain drives. That means get your running game, and then lastly and not least, they have to pressure the quarterback, because if they can get pressure with 4 guys, that means more people in coverage to stop that potent Westfield passing attack.
And let's get to our players to watch. First up, that quarterback, Presley Egbers.
Yeah, Presley Egbers. What more can you say about him, Joseph? He has really took command of this offense, and we've known him as a running quarterback, but now he's even more of a passing threat and being able to spread it to all the weapons that Centerville has. And when you have a player like Jordan Wright who can get it done in the running game and the passing game, that is something that can sustain them in this game.
Presley Egbers, a tremendous player, and the main weapon he throws to, that's Jordan Wright. You mentioned it. As we take a look at the stats right here, 640 yards, 6 touchdowns, but the numbers don't tell the full story. He does it all in that wing T offense.
Yeah, he's a terrific leader, and Coach Haddock couldn't speak more about him. I mean, say more about him, because with that 600 yards, it may seem pedestrian, but he gets it done with his legs as well. And them running that wing T, it's a lot of misdirection, and it's a lot to handle as the quarterback. So him being able to take command of this offense says a lot about him.
Now, Jordan Wright, our second player to watch for Centerville. He's a guy. What does he bring to the table, Brian?
What doesn't he bring to the table, Joseph? In a game earlier this season against South County, he had 16 rushing for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has more receiving yards, Joseph, than he has rushing yards this season, and that says a lot about this young man. He leads the team in receiving and as a rusher, so he's really that combination back in the backfield. Him being able to do it all does a lot for Centerville.
Centerville, of course, a talented team, and Jordan Wright, a guy who does it all for the team. A guy kind of like Chris Thompson there in that D.C. area. Let's get to our keys to the game for Westfield.
Yeah, for this Westfield team, one of the things they're going to have to do is stop the run, because Centerville, as we said, they want to be able to sustain those drives and weather the storm, because the road team is going to come out fired up, ready to go. So just weathering that early storm, and then the battle of special teams is going to be what is going to set both of these teams apart, because they match up well on offense and defense. So for Westfield to win this game, they feel that special teams is going to have to be the X factor for them.
Our first player to watch, you mentioned him at the top, that's Noah Kim.
Oh, Noah Kim, terrific quarterback, Joseph, and he is your traditional drop-back quarterback, pro-style quarterback, and he had a game earlier this season against West Springfield, 301 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and then 27 rushing yards, and he caught a pass that game, Joseph. And when you're passing it to Bizette Woodley on the outside, they have spread this offense out more than it ever has been. They love to run that spread. They love to get their tight end involved, and also that running back in the backfield when you have a running back like Eugene Asante.
You said it, Bizette Woodley. He's the guy for Westfield on the outside. What does he bring to the table?
Joseph, 6'4", big body, wide receiver. Him being able to go up and get it over players is what sets him apart from anybody else on this field.
Bizette Woodley, certainly a player to watch. 7 touchdowns in the early going. We're going to step aside for the national anthem. We are almost ready for kickoff here in Chantilly. But first, let's take a look back, Brandon. These teams play each other quite frequently, both being in Fairfax County. Last season, these teams met, and
Coming to you guys.
Westfield was the big victor in that matchup, winning 27-11 in that game. Of course, you see Noah Kim, a tremendous performance there. 3 touchdowns, one of those on the ground, and of course, the efficiency passing the ball. 277 yards, and the guy you mentioned, Eugene Asante, a powerhouse running the football.
Yeah, Centerville didn't play bad. They just started off slow in that game, so I don't expect them to do that tonight, because when you start off slow against Westfield and they're able to control the ball, you see numbers like Eugene Asante had. They're able to run it down your throat.
Interesting note, Eugene Asante actually plays on defensive side of the ball more often than he does the running back position. Isaiah Daniel has really stepped in and done a nice job for that team. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him with so much responsibility playing offense and defense.
Yeah, he's kind of like the switch side player when you have for Centerville and Taylor Moore, and being able to play both sides and be effective on both sides. It's really going to be that X factor today for Centerville, because when you have a player like Taylor Moore, and then on the flip side you have Eugene Asante for Westfield, it's going to be how much do you use these players? Do you overuse them, or do you just use them just enough?
See the captains going to the center of the field. Eugene Asante, number 8 there for Westfield. Taylor Moore, number 2. And, of course, Jordan Wright, you've got there on the other side, number 5. Should be a terrific matchup today. Now, Westfield has beaten Centerville each of the past 3 seasons, but Brandon, Coach Haddock, he believes in his guys. He thinks that they can win this matchup here today.
Yeah, of course. You have to believe that your team could come in and win this one, because this is going to do a lot when it comes to that Virginia 6A seeding. It seems like whoever wins this game goes on to play in the state championship, and that's what Coach Haddock wanted to preach to his team, is that take this one possession and just one play at a time, because this might not be the last time that these two teams see each other. So, Joseph, what I'm really interested in is how aggressive is Centerville going to be in this game? Do you come out and try to throw out those exotic passes and really show your full offense, or do you just play that passive game and just try to win this game?
And, that's going to be interesting. You would think that they have to come out early firing, and Coach Haddock told us on our conference call, he said that he knows that when it's go time, when it's crunch time, he knows the guy to go to is Jordan Wright.
Yeah, Jordan Wright. He's just a tremendous player. He said he's one of the best running backs in this Northern Virginia area, and I believe it, because he is just shifty, Joseph. He's hard to get on the ground, and when he's getting the ball out of the backfield and being able to see the field, you're really at the mercy of Jordan Wright.
They use him in a lot of different ways. You'll see him on reverses. You'll see him running the football. And, of course, you'll see him catching the football. As Brandon mentioned, he is the leading receiver on the Centerville team. We're fortunate in this broadcast to have an interesting guy, Nick Yor, did the call for the South County Westfield game in late August. Let's hear from Nick Yor from the bird's eye view.
No, we're not using it.
Stand corrected, we're not going to be using Nick Yor. So Brandon, in this game, Westfield and Centerville, Noah Kim as Westfield, they're going to be kicking off. So Centerville's going to have that opportunity to get off to a fast start, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to need to get off to a fast start, because it is blacked out in this stadium, Joseph. And this Westfield crowd is ready to erupt. So if you go 3 and out, you better hope that your defense is able to stop what's coming for that Westfield offense.
You mentioned the blackout. All of the Westfield fans are wearing black, and to counteract that, the opposing Centerville fans are wearing white. And Centerville, they've been impressive this season as well. They're 7-0 for a reason. One of those reasons is the fact that they've shut out opponents 3 of their 7 games this season. Those games being their second game of the season against Champ, West Potomac, and Oakton. Of course, winning those 2 games by significant margins.
That has a lot to do with their players up front. When you have players like Lamar Horner, Trey Maxwell, being able to get it done from that linebacker spot does a lot for the Wildcats.
And Centerville takes the kickoff as Anune takes the ball to about the 30-yard line, and good field position early here for Centerville.
Yeah, you have to get field position, because special teams is going to be a key in this game. So that's a nice start for the Wildcats on this drive.
It's one of the things Kyle Simmons prioritizes, is that special teams using that to get field position. Looks like they're actually starting here at the 15-yard line. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for today's game. The offensive starters for Westfield, but for Centerville, they have Presley Egbers, of course, at quarterback. Running back Jordan Wright, who we've talked about. Sammy Suleiman, Montero, Guerra and Horner and Zaynoun on the offensive line. First play of the game, Egbers, short right to Jordan Wright, and he's tackled.
And that is what is great about this Westfield defense. Those linebackers flow from side to side, Joseph. And I don't know about that short passing game. I wanted them to stretch it down the field on the first play.
It's an interesting thing, Brandon. Stretch it down the field. Jordan Wright is their guy to do it. And they tried going short right that time. Didn't quite work. Eugene Asante, one of the many Bulldogs who were there to blow up that play.
And now the playbook is sort of limited. On 2nd and 10, you have to get positive yardage on this play. And I don't know if you want to run the ball.
Egbers, backfield. And a flag is thrown. Not a good start here. A delay of game penalty as we take a look at the defensive starters for Westfield. Taylor Moore and a guy who does a little bit of everything at that cornerback spot. Gepford, Clancy, Yakpo up front, Eugene Asante Moses in the middle, and Sadiq Hinton, Torrin Johnson, the corners.
And what more can you say about Taylor Moore and the Wake Forest commit?
And big run here. All the way down to about the 40-yard line, and that's number 28, Anthony Ramos.
And that's what you needed, a big play to start the game. The crowd is into it. Now let's see if they could capitalize off this big play.
This Centerville team uses a rotation of backs. Anthony Ramos, one of those guys.
And what a design. You have Jordan Wright running to the outside and then being able to gash it up the middle. Coach Haddock said that they were going to use Wright as a decoy, but it looks like it's coming back.
Certainly does look like it's coming back, and that's got to be disappointing if you are Centerville. Having a big run like that come all the way back. Very disappointing, but Ramos, one of a few guys that they use in that backfield. Coach Haddock described it as a thunder and lightning type combination. Jaquan Price and Jordan Wright. But Ramos, 5 touchdowns on the ground, averages about 8 yards a carry. He flashed some of that speed there.
Yeah, he's that great change of pace back that they have. Of course, when you have a Jaquan Price, who's that traditional run it between the tackles and then being able to get it to the outside with Ramos, it got to be seen as a good thing.
Ball is on the 2-yard line here for Centerville. Dangerous territory as it's 2nd and 17. Ramos and Egbers in the backfield. Take the handoff. Egbers is going to go, and he finds his man Jordan Wright.
Nice ball right there.
Of course, a disappointing start, but Centerville able to get his man right there on the short route. You see?
3rd and 16. I just want to see how aggressive Centerville is going to be on this play. Or do you just try to get a little bit more room for your punter?
It's 3rd down.
Egbers and Ramos in the backfield. Egbers takes the snap. And he's taken down. Joe Clancy.
What a play by Clancy, and that is what Westfield does so well. They're able to get pressure with 4 people. Presley Egbers didn't have a chance.
Not a chance there for Egbers, and of course, this offensive line for Centerville, they're going to be tested here today. Not a lot of, not the size you would expect, but One of the things that Coach Haddock told us is they may not have size on that offensive line, but that allows them to teach his guys angles. You can't teach size, but you can teach angles, you can teach fundamentals. Sumi back here for the punt. He drops it. That's Taj Sumi, and he's going to lose important field position on that play. That's a big break there for Centerville, about the 33-yard line.
Coach Simmons cannot be happy about that. He wanted to come in and stress the importance of special teams. You had Centerville backed up in their own end zone. You have to get better field position out of that.
As the Westfield offense is about to take the field, let's take a look at the starters. For Westfield, of course, Noah Kim, we talked about him at the start. Bazette Woodley and Morin on the outside. Isaiah Daniel in the backfield. He's done a nice job. Eugene Asante, of course, had the tremendous season. You'll see both of them in the game. Daniel behind Noah Kim. Woodley in motion. Kim's going to drop back, and he's looking for his man Woodley. He's got him. Woodley picks up first down yardage on the play.
And Joseph, we were talking about this before pregame. It looked like they wanted to get Bazette Woodley on those quick patterns and what they were stressing and what they were running out here before the game today.
Jabara Nune on the tackle there, and there's a difference in size. Bazette Woodley is bigger than a lot of cornerbacks that you'll see here in Northern Virginia. Nune only 5'10", 160. Woodley, a guy who's 6'4", 200, so they're going to take advantage of that size there. First down, ball's on the 44-yard line. Handoff, Isaiah Daniel has a nice hole, and he's going to power through a defender there. Isaiah Daniel has another first down for Westfield.
And that's what he brings to the table, that ability to finish the run with aggression, Joseph. What a nice run by that young man.
Isaiah Daniel, of course, we talked about the tremendous season that Eugene Asante had last year. 1,886 yards on the season, 15 touchdowns. It's last year, first team All-State, first team All-Region. He was the Northern Virginia Player of the Year, but he's playing linebacker. Isaiah Daniel has done a nice job as the starter. 500-plus yards and 5 touchdowns on the season. Kim fakes, play action, and he gets his man. That looks like Morin, and Morin has the grab. About 7 yards on the play.
Morin, the number 27 ranked player in Virginia by ESPN, showing a little bit of his versatility, able to catch the ball on that out route.
Morin, of course, their leading receiver in terms of yardage on the season. Bazette Woodley leads the team in touchdowns. About 2nd and 2 here, 34-yard line of Centerville. Daniel alone in the backfield for Westfield. Looks like somebody jumped there. Flag is on the Flags on the Wildcats, and the Bulldogs will have a first down on the play.
And that's the thing for this Westfield team. You just want to keep getting positive yardage each play, keep grinding out that clock, and make Centerville have to defend.
Westfield's done a nice job on this initial drive, picking up first downs. 3 of them so far as Daniel gets the handoff. Pick up about 2.
And that should be expected. This defense is pretty good, Joseph. Like you mentioned before, they're 7-0 for a reason, and that's because they have players at that linebacking core like a Trey Maxwell.
Trey Maxwell does a little bit of everything. Actually leads the team in tackles. He's got 5 sacks on the season. Also plays tight end on offense, so he's an important player for them. You see Gavin Kiley running onto the field. He's their 3rd receiver, starting free safety. Taylor Morin in the slot. Kim alone in the backfield. Kim Makes a man miss, makes another man miss, but that play is going nowhere on 1st and 19. The penalty was actually on Westfield, and it's about 2nd and 18 after the sack.
There was nowhere to throw that ball, Joseph. Great man coverage by this Wildcat defense, and that is a coverage sack. But still, Noah Kim's ability to even get past 3 defenders before going down. Wow, what a versatile player.
2nd and 21 after the sack. Noah Kim, you talk about his elusiveness, actually ran for 12 touchdowns last season. Not as active with his legs, only 3 touchdowns on the season, but he certainly has escapability as the handoff goes to Daniel right up the middle, and Daniel lowers the shoulder, powering through defenders, and that's going to be a 3rd and manageable when it's all said and done.
That's probably not what they expected on that play, Joseph, being able to pick up over 10 yards and set up, like you said, a more manageable 3rd down.
Call it 3rd and 5. Woodley at the bottom of your screen. Daniel alone in the backfield. Kim, quick drop, too high, and that's almost intercepted.
Trying to hit possession on a slant, but that was great coverage right there. Being able to put your hands on Possession Woodley and making him, just impeding his progress, did enough right there.
Anune was on the coverage. Kerry Dickinson was the guy who almost picked it one-handed. 3 interceptions on the season for Dickinson. He's a playmaker.
Yeah, these Wildcat cornerbacks don't get enough credit. We talk about their front 7 a lot, but their cornerbacks have been producing this season.
Westfield electing to go for it on 4th and 5. Interesting decision here in field goal range. Woodley in motion. Handoff. That's Eugene Asante, but he can't find the edge. Good contained there by Centerville. Turnover on down.
That's the momentum that the Wildcats needed. Now it's time for your offense to come out there and get something going, sustain a drive, and change this field position.
It's an interesting decision there by Westfield to go for it, presumably in field goal range, but decide to go for it. Their risk doesn't pay off. That was the first carry of the game for Asante. Now he's there leading the center of that defense.
That just shows you how aggressive these teams are going to be tonight, Joseph, especially this Westfield team. At home, you feel the energy in here? I would go for it if I was that Westfield team.
Certainly a lot of energy. It's a packed house. Both the opposing fans and the home fans very excited. Egbers play fake.
Just a little bit too high of a pass. Just get it down a little bit more, Egbers, and that pass is going to be right there.
That bounces off the hands of Kalen John. Interesting thing about this Centerville team, they do not throw the ball a lot, but you wonder if having to go up against a team like Westfield, they'll take their shots here today. They're typically, you talk about that wing T offense, a lot of running, a lot of misdirection. Interesting to see what they elect to do. Egbers. And Egbers is going to keep himself, breaks a tackle, gets positive yardage on the play, a pickup of about 3.
This Westfield team is daring Centerville to throw right now. They want them to throw, Joseph. No safety in the backfield and man on the outside.
At the top, you mentioned one of the keys for Kyle Simmons and this Bulldog team was to stop the run. That's what they're trying to do here tonight.
And that comes with the territory of this Centerville team, being able to stop the run and make them throw the ball. You want to see Presley Egbers throw for 300 yards.
Going to call a timeout here from Centerville. And if you're Centerville, 3rd and 6, had a possession, didn't go well. You forced a turnover on downs. What do you want to do if you're Centerville here?
You want to at least get positive yardage, even if you, of course, you want to get the first down, and that's why I think they're going to have to pass it. I don't think Westfield is going to allow them to run this ball this game, Joseph. They're going to stack the box, 8, even 9-man box at times. You have to be able to throw it to the outside.
You would have to think this is a situation where you get Jordan Wright involved. They've got a conveyor belt of backs, and that's the way that Coach Haddock described it. He believes they've got a lot of guys who can make a lot of big plays for this team.
And this is why you give Presley Egbers the entire wing T offense, being able to control the ball before snap, being able to look over the defense and change the play at times. If he doesn't like what he's seeing, he should be able to get out of that play, and that's what I expect to see throughout this game from him.
3rd and 6, ball on the right hash mark. Egbers flanked by Anune in the backfield. Egbers takes the snap. Egbers has some time, looking to run. He's going to throw to his right, and that looks to be incomplete. He was going for Anune.
Man, they have to get something going, Joseph. They can't keep going 3 and out against this good Westfield team.
They bring on the punting unit here. Does Centerville. The punter, of course, is Nick Anderson, and Nick Anderson does a little bit of everything. He's the starting safety for this team. He returns punts, and he's the punter and kicker.
And he's a pretty good kicker at that. 27 out of 29 PATs this season with 2 field goals, a long of 30. As you see, he puts a lot of leg into that one.
That punt goes out of bounds. Anderson averages 34 yards a punt, and Westfield will have reasonable field position here. The ball at their own 33-yard line.
It's going to be hard to possess Woodley this game because this Centerville defense is really trying to take him away. They have a safety over top of him at all times, giving help to that side.
3 wide receivers on the field. Kylie at the top of the screen. Morin in the slot. Woodley, the bottom. Kim takes the snap, and he's going to keep it himself. Noah Kim picking up yardage.
And that's what he's able to do. He can run the ball between the tackles. He's not just a speed guy. He's a power guy, and that's a quarterback right there, Joseph.
Noah Kim does a little bit of everything. He can move, and he is efficient as can be when passing the football. Only 1 interception on the season, a 16-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. That's pretty good.
That just shows you how efficient and accurate he is. Let's see if they're going to let him throw it again.
2nd and 2, Daniel in the backfield. Kim's going to drop, throw this one up for Woodley. And he brings it down, gets the feet in.
And that's what he's able to do. You see the body control on that play, Joseph, being able to go over the defense, go over the double team. They did have a safety over top, but there is nothing like a perfect pass, and that's what Noah Kim threw right there.
Soft lob up there for Woodley. The Centerville defense had no chance.
And Bezette Woodley, some of his offers, he has Morgan State, and he heard from JMU, Villanova, and Howard, getting some recognition.
6'4", 200, and continuing to get better. Clancy in motion. Daniel in the backfield. And they'll hand it off to Daniel, but there is nowhere to go. Centerville right there.
Nice play by that defense, being able to come right back and say, you're not going to run this ball on this play. We have pride.
DeAndre as well as Lamar Horner on the stop there.
And Lamar Horner, Coach Haddock said he is their run stopper, and he's also really smart. They use him in a variety of ways. Even being able to sniff out those screens does a lot for their team.
Right, Haddock called him an linebacker, that traditional thumper. As Kim takes the snap here, 2nd and 10, he's being chased. He's going to throw this one up to Daniel, but it's over the head of Daniel.
Tried to set up the screen, but that Centerville line was coming, Joseph. I was like, if I was Kim, I would have got it away too.
The blitz by Centerville puts Westfield in a 3rd and 10 situation.
What a response by this Centerville team right now. After that big play, coming right back with 2 plays for negative yardage.
We talked about at the beginning aggressiveness by Centerville in order for them to have a chance to win this game. That aggressiveness can come both offensively, you see it here defensively with the blitz. Pistol formation, Daniel in the backfield. Kim throws, that's the playmaker, Taylor Moore, and he's going to be close to a 1st down.
That quick passing game. Westfield knows that Centerville is trying to be aggressive, so being able to get it out quick, they feel is going to be key for them this game.
Harrington Nickensizer was there on the tackle. This will be an official timeout. So we see both teams have had 2 drives. Westfield driving. What's your so far?
I really like Westfield's poise in this because when you come into a game like this, the atmosphere is going crazy as they pick up the down. But being able to just control yourself and then being 3-time straight state champs, you have to feel their composure is better right now.
First down on the 21-yard line. Centerville's a good team, a team that can manage the clock. If they built to come back, we shall see. Noah Kim is flanked by in the backfield. Moore and Kim. Off the hands of Morin.
That usually doesn't happen for Mr. Morin. Last season, he had 11 interceptions, Joseph, and that just says a lot. And then you add that with 53 catches, he is more than likely a sure.
Morin, of course, first-team All-State and player. That's as a defensive back, but slouch as a receiver either. Who had 841 yards and 9 touchdowns offensively last season. Handoff right up the middle to Daniel. Daniel is going to burst through. He's got a touchdown for Westfield.
And that's how you start off in the first quarter. Just seize the momentum. And that is a great play by Isaiah Daniel. Straight up the gut, straight down the throat of the Wildcat defense.
Isaiah Daniel, 5'9", 170, the junior running back with a big run there. That puts Westfield up 6-0 early in this ball game.
And that puts Centerville a little bit behind the 8 ball. Now, how aggressive are you going to be if you're Chris Haddock? Do you come out and even throw the ball more and try to not have this game slip away from you?
Nugent, extra point attempt is good. Westfield leads 7-0.
What a great drive by this Westfield team. Backed up that great play by Noah Kim and then being able, Taylor Moore to pick up the first down. And then you go right back to Isaiah Daniel, straight up the gut. Great play calling.
Taylor Moore, a guy, the only player on the field today who's committed to a school. He's committed to Wake Forest, as we've mentioned, and on the season already 518 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, and as you mentioned, prolific player in the state of Virginia.
Yeah, he's one of the best players in the state, and that versatility of being able to get it done offensively and defensively, he is a great recruit for Wake Forest. He's going to be able to do it all.
Dave Clausen getting a good. We're expecting him to play defensive back. Obviously, it plays both, but primarily going to focus on defense down there for Dave Clausen's club, Wake Forest.
And another thing about Taylor Moore, he is extremely smart. A 4.1 GPA. He had offers from Howard, Dartmouth, Princeton, and Yale. That just shows you what type of person he is off the field.
Certainly a smart player. Ball is initially dropped, and that looks like Anune. A flag is thrown on the play.
See what the flag is. It looks like a little bit of confusion.
Wildcats called for a personal foul on the return.
And if you're Coach Haddock, you cannot have that right now. Down by 7 points. You don't want to be backed up in your own territory and have to go 80, 90 yards against this tough Westfield defense.
It's going to set Centerville back, and we talk about Westfield and the special teams battle. This is the second instance where Centerville has the ball inside their own 10-yard line. It's tough sledding to get any type of momentum going when you're starting backed up so far into your own field.
It really just limits the playbook. You can't really do much of anything but except try to just pick up as much yardage as you can.
Ramos in the backfield, but the handoff goes to Jordan Wright.
Handoff goes to Jordan Wright, around the right side.
Westfield's done a good job setting a strong edge there. Wright nowhere to go.
Those free-flowing players for Westfield, free-flowing linebackers, I mean, being able to run side to side. We saw it on that first possession, and now you're just seeing it again.
Westfield is interesting defensively because they deploy their players a lot of versatility. We talked about Taylor Morin extensively. They'll play him in the slot, and they'll play him as a deep safety, and another guy who's showed some versatility is Israel McLean, a guy who's plays some linebacker, plays some box safety. And we've talked about Eugene Asante, a guy who was one of the best running backs in the state last year, and he's their defensive leader, one of their defensive leaders.
And that just says a lot about this Westfield program, that they have players that are able to just do so much. Like you said, Eugene Asante, won Player of the Year last year, and now he's playing defense. And then right on time and right in his spot is Isaiah Daniels on offense.
Ball on the 5-yard line for Centerville. Ramos in the backfield. And this handoff's going to go to Wright, makes a man miss, and picks up solid yardage.
Jordan Wright on the carry.
And that's all you want when it's in your own end zone. Being able to pick up that solid yardage on the play, give your punter a little bit of space, and just give your quarterback a little bit of space as well.
It's interesting we talk about Eugene Asante playing defense. I remember we had here at DMV Stream, Nick Yor interviewed Kyle Simmons and talked about Eugene Asante, and he mentioned that they're going to need Asante to play defense. Didn't necessarily anticipate that he'd be a full-time linebacker, but he's certainly done that. Egbers passes short right. That's Kalen Jean.
Nice play by Egbers because the pocket was breaking down and him being able to get outside and just hit his receiver.
He's got mobility. He's able to make plays on the run. To wonder if they're going to take a shot downfield at some point.
You have to spread this Westfield defense out because they are daring you to pass the ball. Now, I don't know if you want to test the hand of the devil, but you have to be able to just spread this football around. It looks like a real stagnant offense right now.
Egbers along with Ramos. The backfield, you see Jordan right there, and they're going to fake, and quarterback keeper Egbers is taken down. Brought down by Israel McLean.
Nice defense by this Westfield team. Looked like they were in cover 2, being able to stop the quarterback and not allow anything deep.
Punting unit comes on here for Centerville, 4th and 8. And Brandon, Westfield's going to get pretty good field position on this punt. Have an opportunity to put more points on the board. Tough situation early on here for Centerville.
Yeah, it's not the ideal start that you wanted, especially on the road. You want to come out and seize the momentum, but now they have a chance for their defense to go back out and get the momentum, try to cause a turnover.
Punt goes to the 40. That's Hinton. Takes the punt, breaks a tackle, but can't escape as Centerville defenders corral him at about the 43-yard line.
And that's 2 times on punt returns that it seemed the punt returner was unsure of what he wanted to do.
Sadiq Hinton was actually a second-team All-Region as a punt returner. He's the starting cornerback as well for Westfield. So this Westfield offense takes the field. Isaiah Daniel had the first touchdown for the game for Westfield. It's in the backfield right now. Morin at the bottom of the screen. Woodley in motion. Kim's going to drop back. Pressure in his face. He escapes, makes a man miss, and Noah Kim. Noah Kim with a big chunk of yardage, 17-yard run for Kim.
That's what he's able to do so great, being able to make something out of nothing. Pocket was collapsing. Nobody's open, but somebody's always open, and that's him being able to use those legs.
The escapability by Kim on full display there. He can do it all, running and passing the ball. Sean Goodman in the game. He's a fullback. You see him up there. Bring him into motion. Kim hands off to Daniel, and nothing doing there. Centerville with a nice stop there on first down.
What more can you say about this Centerville front four, being able to just stop the run and make them pass? But I don't know if that's really what you want to do against this Westfield team, because passing seems to be what they want to do this season.
That's the end of the first quarter. Westfield leads Centerville 7-0 here on DMVSTREAM.com. We'll be right back after this break.
At DMVSTREAM.com, we're working hard in our HD production studio to continue to bring our viewers a continuous flow of new and fresh content. Our studio material includes shows, analysis, recaps, previews, highlights, interviews, and commentary, all about your favorite DMV sports, including high school, colleges, and pro teams. Commercial space and inventory is available for sponsorship and businesses. Learn more about how to join our network of partners at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com.
We start the second quarter with Westfield leading 7-0, and Brandon, the story of the game is Centerville hasn't been able to really sustain drives like they had expected, and Westfield's gone down with an efficient attack. Noah Kim running and passing the ball. What's been your perspective on this first quarter?
It's too many mistakes by this Centerville team. Penalties, not being able to move the ball. It's just all mental right now, and that's not the start that you want to get to, especially on the road.
Centerville not the type of team that can push the ball down the field. They're a team that likes to control the ball. When we spoke to Coach Haddock earlier in the week, he said that he wanted to dink and dunk this Westfield defense. 10 to 15 plays a drive. They haven't been able to get that going. Westfield with the ball and driving here early in the second quarter.
Yeah, and for this Westfield team, they've really been able to open up the entire playbook.
Kim, he's going to throw this one. Goodman breaks the initial tackle and powers forward. Sean Goodman takes it to the 23-yard line.
Sean Goodman, kind of the forgotten man on this team, plays tight end and running back, being able to catch a nice pass right there for the first down.
Sean Goodman, 58 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns on the season, another touchdown through the air. Versatile player. He plays both offense and defense. Horn is in the slot. Kim with Daniel in the backfield behind him. He'll hand off to Daniel, and a swarm of Wildcats bring him down.
Yeah, this Wildcat front seven is really impressing me right now, Joseph. Being able to just contain that Westfield offensive line. They only gave up that one play on the touchdown that was a running play. Everything else has been Kim getting it done with his legs.
Let me see the replay here. This is the pass there to Goodman, and play action fade. Goodman wide open in the flat. It's big time production there for Westfield.
You talk about that pressure, and that's what Centerville brought on that play.
Noah Kim, 2 backs beside him. He's going to hand the ball off. Nothing doing again. Westfield doing a good job setting that edge.
These linebackers are fast, Joseph. You see how fast they got to the ball handler, to the ball carrier, I mean. So let's see what exactly Westfield is going to do on this long third down. Are you going to be aggressive? Are you going to attack them? Because when you have a weapon like Bazette Woodley on the outside, you have to give him a chance.
That was Michael Ritchie, the junior, on the carry. Ritchie had 2 carries for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns last week against Oakton. Kim, he's going to throw this one up for Morin. A little early, and Kerry Dickinson was there, the senior.
Great pressure by this Centerville defense and great coverage down the field. Bazette Woodley tried to run a crossing pattern in the middle of the field, and then Noah Kim in the flat. It was well covered.
Interesting decision here for Westfield. 4th and 16, but looks like the offense is still on the field.
Interesting decision, Joseph. It seems like they want to put their foot to the pedal and just say, whatever happens, happens in this game.
Single back formation. Daniel is the back. Kim's going to drop back. He's going to throw this one up. He's got his man Woodley.
That's why you go for it on 4th down and 16, Joseph. When you have a player like that that is able to catch the ball over 2 defenders again. Great body control by Bazette Woodley.
These Westfield fans excited as the referees rule that is indeed a completed catch. Take a look at the replay here. Kim throws it right up in place where only Woodley can get it.
Another perfect pass by Noah Kim and another great catch by Bazette Woodley. He reminds me a lot of Alshon Jeffrey for the Eagles. Just that body control, big-bodied wide receiver, big hands, and a great big catch radius.
And you know it's interesting. Same size, both wear the same number 17. So it's going to be 1st down on the 3-yard line for Westfield.
Let's see if they give this ball to Eugene in the backfield.
Power formation, and it's going to be the quarterback keeper. And looks to be just short of the end zone. Ball spotted inside the 1-yard line. To wonder if they go for it again.
Bazette Woodley still in the game.
Clancy in front of Eugene Asante. And the handoff goes to Clancy. He's in. Touchdown, Westfield.
Great play design. Had a misdirection on the outside with Eugene Asante and Noah Kim, but they give it right up the gut to Clancy. Caught that Centerville defense guessing.
Clancy, the senior, has caught a touchdown. He's a tight end by trade, but they used him as the fullback in front of Asante. His size and power pays off as he's able to punch it in for 6.
And that seems to be the calling card for this Westfield team, having a bunch of players that could do a lot of things.
Nugent's kick is good, and Westfield leads 14-0 here in the 2nd quarter. So a tale of 2 teams here, Brandon. One team driving down the field with efficiency as we take a look at former Bulldogs, Westfield players who've played in the NFL. You see Eddie Royal, a terrific player, played for the Broncos, Chargers, and the Bears. Evan Royster, of course, had a cup of coffee with the Washington Redskins, and Mike Glennon still active. He's currently the backup for Josh Rosen down there in Arizona.
Bunch of great players have been through this program, Joseph. A bunch of great players.
You can have 3 players played in the NFL coming from your program. You've got to certainly appreciate that. Of course, Eddie Royal, 400 catches in his career, 408 catches, over 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns. Mike Glennon, he actually beat my Woodbridge Vikings my sophomore year in the state championship. He was the quarterback there. As we see Centerville again is going to be set up with tough field position. Carrington, Nick, and Zeiser had nowhere to go.
Great coverage by this Westfield team, getting down there and then not letting the ball carrier be able to get that head of steam that you need on a kickoff. And for this Centerville team, backed up again inside your own 20 off a kickoff. Special teams, you can't say enough about that.
Ball's placed on the 13-yard line here for Centerville, and Kyle Simmons, head coach for Westfield, talks a lot about field position, special teams. It may seem cliche, but it's proving to be a big factor in this game. Right in motion. Handoff is going to go to Ramos instead. Left side, breaks the initial tackle, but not much running room to go as he picks up about 2.
Looks like we have a player down on the field. That is Aaron Deshawn, linebacker for Westfield.
Aaron Dishon, a backup linebacker. Senior, 5'9", and 28. Jordan Wright beside Egbers in the backfield. 2nd and 8. Fakes the handoff to Wright. Egbers throws, and that's a tight window throw completed to Kalen Jean.
They want to get Egbers on the run in this game, get him outside of that pocket, because when he's sitting back there, it's almost as if he's a sitting duck for these Bulldog defenders.
That was actually Jabara Nune on the fake reverse there. Rotate a lot of guys in and out. Here's Jordan Wright is there. He'll get the handoff, but whistle blows. See what the call is. The call is encroachment by Westfield. Be an automatic first down for Centerville, and finally this Centerville team can get something going here.
That just might be the push that they needed, Joseph, just to even get something going, as you said, because their offense has been just stale to start this game.
Westfield, of course, the 3-time defending VA 6A state champions. And lost in 31 games. Handoff up the middle. Not much room to run. Asante was among a group of Bulldogs there for the tackle. Jordan Wright couldn't find much room to work with.
That's what you get with this Westfield team. You have to be sort of exotic with them and just throw something new at them, because they've seen everything over the years. So throw something new. I want to see Centerville throw it down the field. A lot of short stuff, just trying to nick and dime them up the field. But this defense is congested right now and stopping everything.
Egbers handoff to Wright, showing some wiggle, but not much room again. It's number 99, Richie Aguilar, who is there on the stop.
This is the biggest play of the game right here, Joseph. Third down and long. You do not want to give this ball back to this Westfield offense that is humming right now. So you have to pick up this first down. You don't want to be down 21 to 0.
One of the keys of the game was stopping the run, forcing Centerville to pass. That's certainly been the case here early on. Egbers takes the snap, blitz in his face. He's going to throw this one to Wright. And Wright couldn't bring it in, but there's a flag in the secondary.
That's what I'm talking about. Stretch it down the field. That's going to be another first down for this Centerville offense.
We presume that pass interference. We take a look at the Centerville Wildcats. They have a championship pedigree of their own, having won the Virginia 6A state championship in both 2000 and 2013. Now, of course, they've also appeared in the 2011 VA 6A state championship. They lost to Oscar Smith in that one, 47-21, but they were able to get their revenge. 2013 defeating Oscar Smith. A terrific program. Defeated Oscar Smith 35-6, and this pass goes up for Jean. Kalen Jean, big play from Egbers.
And that's what Centerville wanted, those big plays, those change of momentum plays. They've been nicking and diming up the field all game long. Now you see them being able to throw the football down the field. What a play.
Kalen Jean, a big play threat, a guy who, versatile guy. They use him in the backfield. He's a receiver for them, and he so plays defense, one of their linebackers. Terrific play, and finally some signs of life here for Centerville.
Great signs of life. Now you just have to go in and punch it in. Give it to your best player. Give it to Jordan Wright. Let him go out there and make a play.
See Jordan Wright's there in the backfield. It's going to be a timeout for Westfield.
Because Westfield's been daring for them to throw it downfield all game long, and now Centerville, you put yourself in a position to get right back into this football game.
That is just the big play that Coach Haddock and his Wildcats needed. We spoke to Coach Haddock, and you take a look at Centerville. They've got some famous alumni here. Ludacris actually was at Centerville for a year. Lindsey Zarniak, of course, former ESPN reporter. Will Montgomery and Luke Bowanko, offensive lineman in the NFL. Bowanko, an interesting name, considering our producer, Derek Kramer, is a big Jacksonville Jaguars career. Bowanko started his career there in Jacksonville. A free agent now, but never know he could get picked up. And, of course, Will Montgomery started for the Washington Redskins, a 16-game starter, 2011, 12, and 13. So certainly some famous alumni there for Centerville.
One of the more interesting one is Ludacris.
I was surprised to see it too, Brandon. Ludacris, he'd spent a year here at Centerville. Ramos in the backfield. The handoff goes his way. He's got an open hole. He's going to stretch forward. They're going to say he is just short.
Still a good play by the Centerville Wildcats. Not running it up the gut, trying to get it to the outside and almost punch it in.
Have their opportunity here, 2nd and 1. Of course, ball's on the 1-yard line. Ramos in the backfield. Handoff to Ramos, and he's going to take it right in for his 6th touchdown of the season.
That's how you get back into this game, Yosef. Big plays, and now the touchdown.
Looks like there's a penalty on the field here. Let's see what the call is. Going to call an illegal shift here on Centerville, so that's certainly a setback. 5-yard penalty. The Wildcats are going to take the ball at the 6-yard line.
And the mistakes by Centerville this game has killed them offensively and defensively. Now that takes a touchdown off the board.
Tough break there for Centerville. Ramos still in the backfield. Egbers under center. Hart comes in motion. Fake the handoff. And Egbers is brought down. That's Israel McLean.
Great play by McLean, sniffing out that play-action play. They've been trying to get Egbers to the outside all game. Not this time by those Bulldogs.
Sent the blitz, and play-action fake did not work there for Westfield. As we take a look at the replay, McLean like a speeding bullet there in the backfield to get the sack.
And that is a huge play. Now you're setting up a 3rd down in about 16 yards for them to get this ball into the end zone. Now that's the change in momentum that could just flip this game on its head.
3rd and goal from the 17-yard line. Looks like a timeout's going to be called here by Centerville and Chris Haddock.
And this is going to be a big play for these Centerville Wildcats because Chris Haddock said that he didn't want to necessarily be aggressive, but down by 14 points, you have the ball in your own red zone. You don't pick this up. Do you go for it on 4th down and just try to punch it in against this Wildcats and get a touchdown?
He's surprised to see what kind of play they call here. Don't know if they have the personnel to take a shot in the end zone. Do they consider it 4-down territory, down by 14 already as we approach halftime, or they run a quick play here and try to get in good position for their field goal kicker to kick a field goal?
I believe you have to get something out of this drive. Those big plays have to account for something. They just can't account for nothing. So take whatever points you get, especially on the road.
Ramos is the back next to Egbers. 3 receivers to the bottom of your screen. Egbers takes the snap. Has some time. He's going to throw. Oh, bounces off the hands of Gene, and that's intercepted. Tatsumi.
And that is not what you wanted in the red zone, to throw an interception. Now you have no chance for points. And that's a great play by this Westfield defense. They only rushed 3, put everybody back in coverage.
Worst case scenario for Sumi. Ball bouncing off the hands of Kalen Jean, and Taj Sumi, the safety, is there to get it.
Now for this Bulldogs offense, how aggressive are you going to be? You have all the momentum in the world. I expect to see a lot of Bizette Woodley on this drive.
Wonder if they try to get in their 4-minute offense here, taking a lot of time off the clock and trying to finish up with a touchdown. Single back formation. Daniel in the backfield, he'll get the carry. Daniel makes a nice move and takes the ball up 3-4 yards. Clock is running.
This gives us a chance to see that 4-minute offense of this Westfield team. Let's see if they could score with zeros on the clock and not give this Wildcat offense a chance to get the ball back in this first half.
Everything going Westfield's way as you see Clancy and Goodman at the end of the line there. Fakes the handoff. Kim steps up in the pocket. He's going to throw this one. He's got Morin, and Morin brings it down.
Great route by Taylor Morin. That route takes a little bit of time to develop because he has to come all the way from the other side of the field. But Noah Kim staying in there, stepping up in the pocket, and delivering a great ball. Big play.
Morin ran his route right in front of the defender, Nick Anderson. Anderson couldn't make a play on that one. Morin, of course, tremendous receiver. Woodley at the bottom of the screen. Goodman is the fullback in front of Isaiah Daniel. Hand off to Daniel. Daniel puts his foot in the ground and runs right. A flag is thrown on the play.
It looked like a face mask from what I saw, Joseph. So that's another 15 yards added on to the end of this run.
Would not be good news for Centerville if that was the case. We'll see what the call is. And you're absolutely right, Brandon. They call a face mask on the play. It looks to be on the Westfield offense. So works out for Centerville. If you're Centerville, you have to hope you can get a stop here now with the ball being placed 35-yard line. It's going to be a 1st and 25 for Westfield, and Westfield's going to have to open up that passing game if they want to get points on the board before halftime.
And this passing game has been open all game, Joseph. Bizette Woodley on the outside has made some tremendous plays this half.
Asante in the backfield. The handoff is faked, and Kim has the ball. Kim makes the initial man miss, breaks another tackle. The toughness by Kim on that quarterback keeper.
And if these Centerville Wildcat linebackers weren't as fast as they are and as smart as they are, that play could have gone for big yardage, but they're able to flow to Kim. And it's not just one defender that Kim has to get through. It's the entire secondary.
Kim picked up 5 officially on the play. It's going to be 2nd and 20. Got Gavin Kiley, Taylor Morin, and Bizette Woodley all towards the bottom of your screen. Flag on the play. Noah Kim indicating that the penalty is on Centerville. And if that's the case, that's a tough break for Centerville again.
And this defense has played solid, Joseph. It's just the offense hasn't been able to give them anything. the Centerville team has made it hard for the Westfield Bulldogs to score in this game. There's just a couple of big plays. They're right there, but they need their offense to show up.
So no penalty on the play, just a sideline warning. Trying to keep the Westfield players off of the field. 2nd and 20, Kim, pressure in his face. He's going to throw this one. And pass looks to be fumbled. Nickens-Iser rather, taking it the other way.
And that's what you needed for the Centerville Wildcats. Big play, pressure right in the face of Noah Kim, but he's still able to get it to Isaiah Daniels. And it looked like he took a few steps, but then fumbled the football. Big play for the Centerville Wildcats. Now go in and capitalize.
Huge opportunity here for Centerville. I wondered if, let's take another look and see if Daniel actually had this ball. You see there, Carrington Nickens-Iser there on the return. Ramos in the backfield, right in motion. Fake to right, throws this one up. Pass is incomplete.
Great play by Torrin Johnson, being able to read the post route and then make the play over the top. And I like the way that Centerville was aggressive, faking the jet sweep and then going deep.
Egbers targeting Chris Kuzemka, their 2nd leading receiver on the season. 2nd and 10 at the 31-yard line for Centerville. 2 receivers to the top of your screen. That's Jordan Wright there in the slot. He'll go to right, and Jordan Wright picks up solid yardage, a gain of about 6.
Is it just me, or for Jordan Wright, it seems like the first defender never gets him down. It's always the second one.
It's one of the best attributes when you look for top running backs at any level of football. It's being able to make that initial defender miss, and Jordan Wright seems to do a lot of that. It's 3rd and 5 here for Centerville. Kalen Jean alone at the bottom of the screen. Handoff's going to go up the middle to Wright. He loses it but gets the ball back. This is going to be, this looks to be just short. Let's see the official measurement. It's about a yard short. You have to think with a yard to go, Centerville is going to attempt to go for it here.
Have to go for it. Down by 14, you just have a minute left. Be aggressive.
Clock is running. Just over a minute remaining. Egbers in the backfield. Handoff goes to Wright. Wright makes a nifty move and looks to have first down yardage.
Again, what we were talking about before, Jordan Wright always makes that first defender miss. They would make the defender miss in the hole and then go get this first down.
Big time play there by Wright. First and 10 for the Wildcats. The Westfield 20-yard line with 53 seconds remaining. Centerville trailing Westfield 14-0. And I think when you look at the way that Centerville has been able to move the ball down the field, obviously the big play there by Nickens-Iser off of the fumble, talked about these playmaking corners in the secondary, being able to make a nice return there and set Centerville up in good position.
Exactly, just being able to get that turnover, but you have to be able to capitalize on these big plays, and if Centerville doesn't score right here, that's going to be the second time that they weren't able to do that.
Big time matchup at the bottom of the screen. That's Jordan Wright and Sadiq Hinton. They're going to go up to Wright, and Hinton, strong coverage there.
Great play by Hinton right there, and knowing that Wright wanted to go deep and just shielded him boxed him out just like in basketball.
Looks to be a flag on the field, though. We'll see as the referees are conversing.
It did look like accidental content. I didn't know if it would be enough to warrant a penalty.
Wait on the call. We'll see. The call is here. The call goes against Westfield. That's another break there for Centerville. I think you're right, Brandon. I think that Hinton may have had some incidental contact there, but the referees call it against the Bulldogs.
That's just another chance for this Centerville offense just to punch it into the end zone. You want to be able to get points before this half, and with this Westfield defense, they just really been able to stymie anything when it comes to this red zone for the Centerville Wildcats. So look for Jordan Wright to get it out of the backfield again. We haven't seen that since the beginning, the first play of the game.
An interesting dynamic here, Brandon. 0 timeouts remaining for Centerville, so there's something to watch to see. Chris Kuzemka and Gene at the bottom of the screen. Egbers flanked by Wright in the backfield. Egbers takes the snap. Pressure in his face. He's going to throw up. Wide open is Jordan Wright.
He just
Pass
led
is
him
complete.
a little bit too much.
Pass is complete, but Wright was ruled down. Quickly hurrying up to the line. And the ball is spiked there.
That could have been a touchdown right there. Joseph just led him a little bit too much. But Wright just shows what an athlete he is, still being go out there and make the diving catch.
Terrific adjustment by Wright. Being able to make that catch, as you mentioned, Brandon, the ball is a little bit out of his reach, but being able to pick positive yardage up on that play, a benefit for Centerville. Replay. Take a look at the replay. Sent the all-out blitz and set up the play. Pressure was in the face of Egbers. Perhaps the reason he threw it a little bit in front of Wright, but impressive job by Wright to be able to corral the football.
And what a change of momentum this could be, because Centerville is not going to get this ball to start the second half. So if you don't score right here, you might be down 21-0 before you know it in the third quarter.
Timeout called by Westfield here, and if you're Westfield, have to keep the ball out of the end zone.
And for this Centerville offense, ball inside the 5-yard line, what play do you draw up? Do you want to go back to Wright? Because you know Westfield is not going to sit back. They're going to bring that pressure. So do you run the ball? Do you pass the ball? Is this I think this is 4-down territory, Joseph.
Well, the interesting thing here, Brandon, is that with no timeouts for Centerville on 3rd and 3, we'll see what they do here. Egbers takes the snap. Egbers throws this one, and that's almost picked. Threw it right to Asante.
Gene Asante couldn't make that play, but he's used to catching that ball. Running back at heart, he has to be cursing himself right now, because that could have just changed the entire complexity of this game.
18 seconds remaining in the second quarter. 4th and goal on the 3-yard line for Centerville.
These Wildcats get another chance to punch it into the end zone.
Offense on the field. Egbers fakes the handoff. He's going to give it to his man, and he's taken down. 4th down stop for Westfield.
Great stand by the Bulldogs, being able to keep them out of the end zone. They tried that misdirection play. Bulldogs are ready for it. They're about to go into halftime up 14-0. What a great stand.
Terrific stand for Westfield. Asante was one of several Bulldogs who were there on the play. If you're Westfield, you have to feel pretty good about the way you played this first half.
Yeah, they did leave some points on the table there, Joseph, throwing that, actually fumbling the fumble by Isaiah Daniels. But yes, you have to feel good about where you are right now, up 14-0, and your defense was able to keep them out of the end zone 2 times in the red zone.
Quarterback keeper for Kim to run out the clock as Westfield will go into the half, leading 14-0. It's high school football here on DMVSTREAM.com. We'll be right back after the break.
At DMVSTREAM.com, we use state-of-the-art live streaming and video production tools to create an unparalleled viewing experience from local sporting events. Whether we're using our 12-foot HD broadcast production truck or employing one of our state-of-the-art fly pack kits, our broadcasts always include multiple camera angles, instant replay, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com.
Good evening, lacrosse fans, and welcome to Westfield High School.
We have a great game in store for you today. The first time in the history of the Capital Classic that girls high school basketball players, the finest in the country, will be taking the court.
Welcome to Turney Field at Sparks, Maryland. USA Fall Classic tonight. Perfect night for lacrosse. The U.S. national team taking on the defending national champion Maryland Terrapins. Scott Jackson and Matt DeSilva here with you, and we're going to hear from Alex Littlehales, our sideline reporter here in a while. But Matt, so much talent on Team USA. Matt, you think you have this play stopped?
And that's probably the best the U.S. offense has looked so far. Slick move by Walters, brings off the pipe, and check out the redirect by Schreiber off that rebound. I mean, that ball was not in Schreiber's second for but half a second. Moves it right to Pinnell. Pinnell sticks it. Bing, bang, boom, tic-tac-toe. 5-1.
Really pretty.
Hey everybody, and welcome into the post up. Brady Green here, and I have my main man with me, and that is Nick Yor. And we're going to show you our small truck first before we break down some football. Here's our small truck.
Good evening, lacrosse fans, and welcome to Westfield High School.
game in store for you today. The first time in the history of the Capital Classic that girls high school basketball players, the finest in the country, will be taking the court.
Hey everybody, and welcome back into the Post Up. It's Brandon Green, and today in the paint we have Nick. Nick, you were covering the game, South County versus Westfield. Actually calling the game, you were color analyst for that. So we're going to break down some film of these two teams. We know how the outcome came out. Westfield was able to get that 13-10 win, even though they did not completely finish the game. But still, let's go ahead and let's run these highlights. Now, Nick, explain to me what you're seeing on this play.
So this is a very common formation for Westfield. They like to use that tight end, then two split receivers, run a lot of bubble screen. But Kim notices he has one-on-one, bottom of the screen, no safety help. So he has to take that matchup with his taller receiver, Bazette Woodley, 6'4", on Torrance Hill, who's only 5'7", 5'8", and he just drops a perfect pass into there, right over the shoulder. All Bazette Woodley had to do was stick his hands out, so a great throw there by Kim.
Now, for South County, you have to understand that Bizette is 6'4". So what defense were they playing right there? It couldn't have been man. It could not have been man on that play. It had to be some type of zone and just a busted coverage, right?
Yeah, well, definitely on this side of the field, since they do have one receiver, they were going man on just this side of the field. But as you look up top, they are in a zone. As you see the defenders just kind of going with what their receivers are. But then once he notices he has one-on-one, and as a receiver, you notice that as well when he's pressed up on you, and you look out and there's no safety over top. You just got to give a signal to the quarterback which route you want to run, whether it's a slant, whether it's a fade. He gave his position to his quarterback, and then they ran the right route and executed. So I thought it was a little different coverage from South County.
Okay, let's take a look at this South County offense now. And for South County, they could get it done in a variety of ways, even though they could get done through the air. It's particularly getting it done through the air right here. Let's go ahead, let's run this clip, and Nick, just break this down for me.
Yeah, so they get it done on the ground and in the air, but a lot of it is through Tyler Johnson, this guy right here, 25, who catches the ball, and they do it whether he's running the ball or catching the ball. Here he was lined up as a receiver. They just want to get a big 3rd and 5. They get it out to their athlete. He makes a couple guys miss in space and picks up a big first down for them. That's something South County, I think, has to do more because their ground game is so good and they do it so often that they have to mix it up and keep these teams honest by throwing a little play action. And that's how they scored their one touchdown as well to Joseph Sheffield off play action.
And how good is Tyler Johnson? Not only being able to get it done in the running game, but the passing game as well. As we see, the quarterback's just going to completely get decked. And still, just the concentration to even make that pass, and then the concentration by Tyler Johnson to make that play, just overall, it's probably the best play that we saw that day, Nick.
Yeah, and just the ability to line up your starting running back in the slot and have him run a corner route to perfection and then go up and get it first off and then get the feet down as well. That shows his versatility, and that shows why so many schools, including a lot of Ivy League schools, are after him. And he does have a 3.7 GPA as well, so that makes another thing while Tyler Johnson is so special. And like you said, probably the most versatile player we saw on the field that day. Had about 10 carries and at least 5 catches. So he was getting it done on all ways on the field.
And then for Westfield, we see them go with this tight end jumbo formation again and then being able to do play action off of this. This is a huge play in the game. 4th and 25 in the second quarter. You have to get in position to score, so them being able to pick this up was huge.
Yeah, so Westfield hadn't scored. They were being shut out right now, so they really need to get some points going offensively. And you got to give the Westfield coaching staff and Kyle Simmons some credit here. They don't run a lot of misdirection, a lot of trick plays. They like to keep it simple, running the ball, short throws. But they completely dialed this play up and designed it for a specific instance like this. 4th and long, it's a little throwback screen, as you see. They pretty much let the South County defenders go. Kim's knows he's going to take a hit and just has to get rid of the ball, and then he is just wide open as the defenders went downfield with the receiver. So they just sneaked Daniel out in the backfield. A great little play there they're going to use on long distances.
Yes, sir. And for both of these two teams, it really comes down to the defense as well, being able to just combat both of these offenses. You see South County gets up the field, but then the break on the ball was just tremendous.
Yeah, Torrance Hill make a great play on the ball here. He had a little trouble with Woodley's size, but other than that, when he's in zone and when he's guarding receivers a lot more his size, he is a very good and effective corner, does a very good job. And you see here he does a great break on the ball, but this is actually bad ball placement by Kim. As you see Woodley, the ball probably should have been on the outside corner and that would have been a completion. But another great play there by South County. And the South County defense is way more important than in Westfield's is, because Westfield does have some great players coming back. But South County's defense is what they lean on, especially that front seven. That defensive line is very good and shut down Eugene Asante for most of this game.
When we look at Noah Kim, we have to look at the throwing motion. He seems as if he's throwing a baseball in a sense. It's not really packed and tight. And how much of that can have an effect on ball placement?
Yeah, so it didn't have an effect much on Kim that game, as he was very accurate, but he is a baseball player as well, so that might have an effect on his throwing motion. But you see guys like, the biggest one that comes to mind is Tim Tebow, is what they said. He had that baseball throwing motion, and it's mainly just not where the ball ends up, it's delivery. It takes a lot longer to get that type of motion out and get it coming through. So it's just, and when he gets to the higher levels, if that's going to be an issue with the rush and stuff like that. So it's just really not of where the ball ends up, it's how long it takes to get out and where it gets to its place.
Westfield, they are a tough team, but before the game, you said South County is going to surprise a lot of people in this game. Did that ring true?
I mean, I think it did, especially for the Friday night version of this game when it was 10-6 and South County came out and really just took first drive of the game, went right down Westfield's throat and scored. So I didn't think a lot of people expected that. It was a 10-6 game at halftime. Not many people expected that. Yeah, the final score got a little away from South County, but other than that, I feel like they held their own and they kind of knew that we can play with this team. If this team can't run it on us, and we can run it on them, that means we can run it on anybody in the region, because this is some of the best players we're going to go up against in Westfield.
A lot of confidence for South County. Is there anything such as a morale win? It had to be that for them Stallions, and also for Westfield being able to get that win. Just shows you what type of team they are. They're going to be a threat in that Virginia 6A. But that's going to do it for this edition of the Post Up. For more segments like this, be sure to visit us at DMVSTREAM.com.
DMVSTREAM.com, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com. That's DMVSTREAM.com.
Hey everybody, and welcome into the Post Up. Brandon Green here alongside one of my good friends, Nick Yor. And today we're going to break down some football film, but first we're going to give you a look into what goes behind the scenes at DMVSTREAM.com with our small truck.
Good evening, lacrosse fans, and welcome to Westfield High School.
We have a great game in store for you today. The first time in the history of the Capital Classic that girls high school basketball players, the finest in the country, will be taking the court.
Hey everybody, and welcome back into the Post Up. Brandon Green here alongside my good friends Nick Yor and Nick. We're going to break down some football action. You're actually going to this game. We got South County versus Centerville, and for South County, they're coming off that loss to Westfield, but they have to feel good about a few things, right?
Yep. So they played coming off a big loss to Westfield, 1-1. Beat Langley first week of the season, 47. Handled their business very well there, and then actually lost to Westfield, 24-12. In a two-day affair, Friday and Saturday, delayed by lightning. But I thought since they are facing Centerville, I think Westfield was a very good test for them, because they are two very similar teams, Centerville and Westfield, both very big and will like to run the football at them a lot. So I thought that was a very good test for South County, and to hold Eugene Asante down rushing, they should be in good shape for Centerville's rushing attack as well.
Well, we got some film on both of these two teams. Let's go ahead and let's start it up and let's break it down. Now, looking at this South County offense, it has to flow through just a few players, right, Nick?
Yeah, so the South County offense is predicated on the ground. They like to go to that early and often, and it runs through there. Number 25, Tyler Johnson, whether he's catching or running the football. But this is what I want to see more from South County and doing is that this play action game. Look how open his receiver is just on the play action because that running game is so effective with Tyler Johnson, Kendall Riley, or Tyler Phillips. They have a ton of running backs who can run the football. So I'd love to see them go down the field more with some of those big play action passing plays to their big play guys like a Brock Spalding or like you see here, Joseph Sheffield, to try and open up some of this defense because they are so effective running the ball.
Yeah, for South County, Tyler Johnson is really just an underrated player on this team, isn't he?
Yeah, Tyler Johnson is very effective running and catching the ball. Had multitude of catches in this Westfield game and touches. Had about 5 carries on the first drive, and then the next drive had about 5 catches. So he's doing everything he can and is a great student as well. 3.7 GPA, which is another thing to love about him.
And when we look at this South County defense, they showed up against Westfield in that first half, and it was on plays like this, being in perfect position. I think that's cover 3 that you're seeing right there, and just being able to get as deep as you can, especially with the weapons that Westfield had.
Yeah, that's the key to this the South County team, is their defense. All 4 linemen, Zion Dane, son of Ron Dane, Heisman winner, is just one of them, and they all had experience on the varsity last year, so they're all coming back. They're 2-year starters, and they do not let anybody run the football on them. It's going to be hard to run the football against South County no matter who you are. So to see get great secondary play from their back end, that's just a bonus because the key is their front 7 and front 8. So when they get great play like this, they're going to be very hard to score on.
And when we look at Centerville, they lost a lot of players from last year, but they're returning their man under center, which has to feel good for them.
Yeah, QB Presley Egber is one of the best names in the DMV. Plays for Centerville here. Can run and throw the ball. Has a nice deep ball here, but one of his best abilities is running the football and making plays with his legs. I think that's going to be key in this game because South County will shut down this Centerville run game, and it will not be that big of a factor for Centerville. So the ball is going to be in Egber's hands. So if he can make some plays with his legs on some broken plays like Kim did last week to buy some time for his receivers like this to go downfield, I think that'll be key for the Wildcats to get some big plays against this tough defense.
And if we can get a prediction out of you, who do you feel has the edge in this game?
So this is going to be tough because I really like the way Centerville plays. 2 great wins to start the season over Stonewall Jackson, and then Sean Champ, 14-0 win, tough win at home last week. I think they're very 2 similar teams, and I just love Centerville's quarterback, Presley Egbers. I think he can make a lot of plays running and throwing the football, and it's instinctual in his mind. He knows when to make plays. I like South County's team a lot better. I like the running backs, and I like the offense and defense better, but I just think there's something about Centerville's quarterback, and I think he might make some key plays down the stretch to get these guys a win. It's going to be close, low scoring, will be definitely below the 20s for both teams, but I think Egbers might make a couple plays to help Centerville pull off an upset.
All right, Nick, this is probably going to be like the hardest question that I ever ask you. Who has better jersey, South County or Centerville? Because we saw Centerville's that light blue, that baby blue with those black shorts, but then South County they're sneaky kind of when it comes to them uniforms.
Yeah, our producer last week, Ryan Dean, was telling us how much he loved those South County blue and green uniforms. But I think I got to go with Centerville just because I'm used to the Carolina blue and the dark blue as well for me playing at Yorktown. So I just love that Carolina blue. And then when you can add some black in there as well, that's a tough combination to beat.
So Nick likes Centerville as not just winning this game, but also winning the fashion arena as well. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Post Up. For more segments like this, be sure to make us your leader at DMVSTREAM.com.
They tell me I'm hot, they tell me I'm next. If I wasn't so full of myself, I could be the best. He's so conceited, that's what they said. Swag tight, trying not to let it go to my head. They tell me I'm all that, they tell me I'm nice. They say I'm amazing, that's what they said. Swag tight, trying not to let it go to my head. Let there be no doubt.
We are moments away from the second half kickoff, but before we get there, Yosef Nasser, Brandon Green, as Westfield leads Centerville 14-0. And Brandon, when we consider what we saw in that first half, Westfield execution, several different levels, Noah Kim scrambling around, making plays. A play that sticks in my mind is that 4th and long conversion there to Bizette Woodley. That led to a Clancy touchdown. Isaiah Daniel had a touchdown. earlier in the game. And on the other side for Centerville, stopped on fourth down. They've had their opportunities, obviously, with the Nick and Zizer fumble recovery, as well as the big pass to Kalen Jean. It seems like execution in big situations is the big difference between these two teams thus far in the first half.
Yeah, for Centerville, they wanted to come in and stop those big plays, but they have not been able to do that. Bizette Woodley has been able to catch it over 2 defenders, and then you even had Noah Kim being able to come across the field on that one pattern and catch a big play. So it's just the big plays right now for Centerville that's kept them in it and also has them down 14-0. They're able to come up with some big plays, making Isaiah Daniels fumble, but then they're not able to convert in the red zone 2 times, and that's the story of the game. It's just Centerville not being able to convert in the penalties.
So take a look at Centerville coming out for the second half. We saw the Centerville faithful still out in full force there in the bleachers. If Centerville is to make a comeback here, what do they have to do here in the second half?
They first have to get a stop because Westfield is going to get this ball, get a stop, get a 3-and-out, get the momentum, and then from there, you're just down by 14 points, Joseph. It's not an insurmountable lead, so just one play at a time. I know that Coach Haddock was in there preaching that you guys are right in this game despite how bad you played, so it's just going to be a couple plays that's going to decide this game.
And as the Westfield Bulldogs re-enter the field, business as usual for them in the second half, what do you think they need to do?
They don't really have to change too much. Just cut down on the turnover that they had in that first half, and it would have been a perfect half of football for them if they were able to score and go up 21-0 because, Joseph, they're able to get what they want. They're running the ball effectively between the tackles and being able to get to the outside, but Noah Kim's ability to extend the play and be able to find these receivers and make those precision passes is what's impressed me tonight about these Bulldogs.
Certainly a balanced attack for Westfield. We've seen a little bit of everybody. Taylor Moran, of course, on some short screen passes. Noah Kim being able to make plays in and out of the pocket. Bizette Woodley, that big conversion on fourth down, but being able to make plays. They're, as you've mentioned throughout the broadcast, they're shadowing him. They've got a safety over top of him. He's still able to execute. Kim trusts him in those situations.
It doesn't matter when you have a big, strong receiver because there is no defense for the perfect pass, Joseph. And that's what Noah Kim's been throwing. Then when you have a big-bodied receiver like that that's able to box out 2 people and go over the smaller defenders, it just does a lot for your team and opens up the field. And now you're able to get Isaiah Daniels and Eugene Asante the ball in the backfield and let them go to work.
Of course, Westfield have won 6 of their 7 games by 10 points this season. And if things hold here, it looks like that'll be the case in this one. But Centerville, tough team in their own right. They're a team that plays with a lot of pride, and Coach Haddock's going to look to his senior leaders in order to come back in this one.
Yeah, you have to look at your offense of this one to get you back into this game because your defense is playing well. They only gave up 14 points to this potent Westfield offense, but for the Centerville offense, how much more exotic can their play calling get? Right now, it's just been very mundane. As you mentioned in that first half, they're able to get the ball down the field on one of their possessions, but that resulted in no points. So it's just the creativity in the red zone now, being able to just punch it in.
When we spoke to Coach Haddock about why he uses the wing T offense, he said that the reality of the situation is they don't have a lot of big, huge offensive linemen. Most high school programs use that wing T. And a lot with the high school football teams in the area, you may have one of those big kids, up front, but certainly not 5 or 6. So it lends itself to smaller linemen. You can't teach kids size. You can teach them angles, leverage, deception. Let's take a look at the Washington Post football top 20 here, and you see Westfield. And Brandon, you've gone out and seen a number of these teams. You've got St. John's, of course, with Soljay Mayava. Terrific team there, good counsel.
Probably the best team in the country right there, Joseph.
One of the best teams in the country. IMG Academy was a game that got canceled because of the hurricane. They're certainly up there as well down there in Florida. Good counsel, Damascus, Westfield, of course, number 4 on that list. And it's always interesting when the Washington Post, their staff does a great job, but it's tough to sort out these WCAC schools versus some of the independent schools. Got your IAC schools and Maryland and Virginia public schools, but Westfield, certainly a big honor to be number 4 on that list.
Yeah, especially when you have teams like a good counsel. Even DeMatha in this region is doing tremendous work this season in that tough WCAC. But for that Washington Post staff, just for them to be able to go out there and get it done and just put a list together like they do, it says a lot about these teams in this Northern Virginia area, because you see a lot of teams in there. Centerville is in there as well. So that says a lot about the football that Nova can offer.
Great coverage all season long by folks over there at Washington Post and allmetsports.com. Ready to kick off this second half. Centerville will be kicking to Westfield. The Bulldogs lead the Wildcats 14-0. Back deep to return are Hinton and Morin. Chris Kazemska is the kickoff man, and he puts this one deep, and it'll be grabbed by Kiley. Short kick. Kiley will take it to about the 28-yard line. As Westfield trots out for the second half. Westfield all game, they've had good starting field position. Always seem to be starting out their own 30-yard line. Caters well to being able to put successful drive together.
And Coach Simmons wanted to stress special teams in this game, and they have been able to control that aspect of the game. It is a huge reason why they're up 14-0. It's much easier to go 50 yards than 80 yards for a touchdown.
Head coach Kyle Simmons, 2017 All-Met Coach of the Year, VA 6A All-State Coach of the Year. Tremendous success, winning the past 3 championships. Westfield, Kim fakes to Daniel, eludes pressure, making people miss, and he's going to go down. Noah Kim brought down by Gavin Thomas and company.
It is so hard to bring Noah Kim down. Made 2 defenders miss, but Gavin Thomas right there for the cleanup. And for this Centerville defense, you're going to have to bring that pressure. You can't let Noah Kim sit back there and just pick you apart.
Defense, one of the identities of this Centerville team. We spoke to Coach Haddock. He said that Gavin Thomas described him as a stout defender and perhaps the strongest player who's ever played at Centerville. High praise for defensive linemen. Noah Kim in the pistol. 4 receivers, Daniel in the backfield. Kim hands it to Daniel, and Daniel is brought down.
Great start for this Centerville defense, coming out with the blitz on the first play, now stopping the run, forcing them into a long third down. If you wanted to script a perfect start for them, this is what it looks like.
Gavin Thomas there again. Thomas third in the team in tackles. Force up front. On 3rd and 15, Westfield goes 3 wide receivers. Gavin Kiley in the slot, Morin at the top of your screen. Being chased, and he throws it up, and Thomas with the interception! Gavin Thomas! He's made himself a presence this whole drive, and Thomas comes up with the big play to set up Centerville inside the opposing 10-yard line.
And that's what you needed, the perfect start for this Centerville defense. 2 negative plays back-to-back, and now Gavin Thomas sniffing out that screen. That's something that Coach Haddock said, that his defensive line is so smart, and his linebackers, they're able to cover screens well. As you see it right there, they are not fooled, and now they're in a great position.
Centerville, 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. It's a big-time play by Gavin Thomas. Sets up Centerville to put some points on the board here early in the second half. Handoff is going to go to Wright, and Wright has the edge. Can he get there? There's a flag on the play. We'll see what the call is. Good play call there, utilizing Jordan Wright's ability to get to the corner. Of course, still awaiting the penalty.
And Jordan Wright's ability to see plays before they happen, that's being able to get to that outside. Saw nothing was going on in the middle, and he was able to break it to the outside.
Looks like this will be against Centerville. Brendan, we've talked about it all evening as Centerville's called for the hold on the play. Talked about it all evening. Centerville themselves in bad situations here. Tough spot. 1st and goal at the 16-yard line.
Keep shooting themselves in the foot. You just had You were about to have second down inside the 1. Now you're outside the 15.
Got right in the slot in motion. Fakes the handoff, and they'll give it to Ramos instead. Ramos, tough to bring down. He'll pick up a few. Pickup of about 5 there for Ramos.
Nice yardage, but still, you can't talk about it enough. These penalties and just shooting yourself in the foot is going to, if it hasn't already, it's going to come back to bite Centerville.
Well, Brandon, especially, we talked about the wing T offense for Centerville. When you're a run-oriented offense, the idea is to get on schedule, keep the ball moving, stay on schedule in terms of not getting behind the sticks, picking up chunk yardage. When you're moving backwards, it's tough to execute that offense. Jabara Nune in the backfield. He'll get the pass, has a block, tries to make a man miss, but he's brought down. That's Taylor Morin.
This Westfield defense is so hard to score on, which is the reason they have shut out opponents 3 times this season, is that when you get down into this red zone, their offense puts so much pressure on you that you feel you have to score, and that just gives the defense house money to play with because they know you have to be aggressive.
It's interesting. We've talked about the versatility of Westfield and their defense. They typically play 5 to 6 defensive backs, as we see Jabara Nune looks to be down field there. Nune got hurt on the carry, but Westfield, interesting, even against a run-oriented team, they like to opt for that speed, having 5 to 6 defensive backs. We're going to take a look at the schedule here for Westfield as we see got the 7 straight wins. The closest game coming against Madison. We had the South County game here on DMVSTREAM.COM in late August, and interesting note about that game. That game got delayed due to lightning in the area, and it was postponed until the next day. But South County was able to play well against Westfield, and it's a big game here today against Centerville. They win this game, you'd have to think against West Potomac and Chantilly, they can enter the playoffs undefeated.
Surely they can do that, but their first task is to stop this Centerville defense in the red zone, 3rd and 9.
Egbers and the pistol. Westfield. It's like an offsides or false start against the offense here, and Centerville again moving backwards.
Another shot in the foot for this Wildcats. It's been the story of the night. It's just them with these self-inflicted wounds.
Centerville at the 14-yard line. Egbers right at the bottom of your screen. He's going to fake it to Ramos. He's going to throw to Wright. Wright's able. He bobbled it. He dropped it. Looked like Wright had a chance to catch it.
He has to lead him a little bit more to the outside on that. That was another touchdown. But now it looks like Centerville is going to opt for the field goal right now, Joseph. Just dialing back on the aggressiveness just a little bit, just trying to get something.
At this point, you have to get points on the board, especially going against a team like Westfield, being 4th and goal at the 14-yard line. Coach Haddock and his group can opt for the field goal attempt. Snap is down. Field goal is no good. Westfield able to come up with another stop.
Unable to convert in the red zone again. You have to give this Bulldogs defense credit, but it has a lot more to do with the Wildcats' self-inflicted wounds and not being able to get anything going in the red zone.
In addition to the penalties, Brandon, Centerville has had 3 opportunities driving the opposing red zone, haven't been able to come away with any points. Has to be disappointing for this offensive group.
And it has to be frustrating for this defense because they are playing their tails off right now, Joseph. Only giving up 14 points to this Westfield offense. Their offense has to give them something.
Lizette Woodley, he's at the bottom of your screen. The handoff goes to Asante, the powerful back. Picks up about 2 as a swarm of Wildcats bring him to the ground.
That's Gavin Thomas in there again. He has 3 sacks on the season, Joseph, and with that interception, you mentioned it. He's one of the strongest players to ever put on a Wildcats uniform, and he's been showing it this whole game.
That, according to Coach Chris Haddock, Gavin Thomas a force on that defensive line for Centerville. Asante again in the backfield. Kim under center. Kim will take the snap. Asante picks up the blitz, throws high for Morin. Taylor Morin looks to have a first down.
Great catch by Morin, being able to go up and get that football.
How about that blitz pickup there by Eugene Asante against the edge rusher? Able to give Kim some extra time to find his man Morin.
And that's why he was the Virginia Player of the Year last season. He's able to do it all, Joseph. We mentioned it before, and that's just one thing he does. He does whatever needs to be done to win for this team.
I think it speaks to his selflessness, the fact that he was so dominant on the ground last season, and he's able to play linebacker, do whatever the team needs. As Asante takes the carry, right side, and Asante picks up a powerful 6 there.
Now let's look and see what this Westfield offense is going to do. There's no need to be aggressive. You're up 14-0. Your defense is playing great. Now it's time to run this football and just fatigue this Centerville front 7 and just get them down, because when the fourth quarter comes, those 5-yard runs are going to turn into 10-yard runs and turn into touchdowns.
Take a look at the graphic and then talk about Eugene Asante. He's got some offers from Howard and Towson, and Bizette Woodley. We've talked about him getting some interest as well. I formation. It's a penalty on the play.
No complaints out of this Westfield team. They just moving on back.
So it's 2nd and 10 on the 31-yard line. Kim, Asante in the pistol. 3 receivers to the top of your screen. Asante will get the carry. Eugene Asante trying to make people miss, but can't do it as number 45, Rob Placides.
Can you say anything more about this defense? That's 10 players around the ball. They are a swarming defense, and they're playing really well right now.
Absolutely right there, as Westfield hasn't really been able to get much going on the ground. Obviously, in their own red zone, or in the opposing red zone, they've got the 2 rushing touchdowns, but in between the 20s, it's been mostly the passing game and scrambling ability of Noah Kim that's moved the ball down the field. Kim takes the snap, pressure in his face, but Gavin Kiley picks up the first.
And that's Jordan Wright on the outside. He didn't want to pick up the penalty, so he just put his hands off and let him catch the ball. You have to be aggressive in that situation. At least don't give up the play.
Gavin Kiley plays safety for the defense, not utilized as heavy as he was last season. Last season he had 515 yards and 6 touchdowns, still a valuable piece to this Westfield offense. Isaiah Daniel back in the game. Not much room to run. He put his head down and picked up 2.
And that's right on schedule for this Westfield offense. Pick up a good first down. Get some nice yardage on this first down. Just keep the ball moving. Keep this clock running is the most important part.
2nd and 7. Bizette Woodley at the top of the screen. Harrington Nickensizer on him. Single high look from Centerville. Daniel takes the carry, and he's brought down. Not much yardage there. Looks like there's a flag on the field. 2 flags. Will wait on the penalty. The referees converse.
Real conservative play calling for this Westfield offense right now, as it should be. Their most important thing right now is to make this game as short as possible. You don't want to give any life to the Centerville team.
Looks to be a hold on the Westfield offense. That'll set them up with the 2nd and 17.
Student section really getting into it, Joseph. They have to be happy right now as their Bulldogs are up.
This game, of course, a blackout for this Westfield home fan base. Exciting week at any time. They knew what was at stake here. 2 7-0 teams squaring off, of course, as we highlighted at the beginning of the broadcast. Westfield has won the past 3 matchups, but Centerville, a team with some pride too and some championship pedigree. They're in a tough spot here, down 14-0 late in the 3rd. Now it's 2nd and 20. Morin in motion. Kim's going to take the snap. Can't find anything, but Kim escapes. Noah Kim, 8-yard scramble.
That acceleration, being able to make something out of nothing again. He looked like he was bottled up, but then just put his foot in the ground, and with 2 steps, he's able to accelerate and just pick up some nice yardage.
Looked like they tried to set up the bubble screen for Morin when Kim didn't like what was there. Decided to evade a tackler and pick up some yardage on his own.
And this is a smart Centerville defense, but you have to, when you stop something, you have to give up something else, and Noah Kim's been able to get it done with his legs.
3rd and 13. Taylor Morin to the bottom of your screen, checked by Jordan Wright. Asante in the backfield. Kim will drop back. He's going to throw to his man, Morin. Morin on the slant, picks up the 1st down. Taylor Morin brought down by Anderson.
And it looks like Noah Kim and this Westfield offense are picking on Jordan Wright right now on that left side. That's 2 times he gave up 2 big plays.
Take a look at the replay here. Kim, simple 3-step drop, and he's going to get it to his go-to guy, Taylor Morin, breaking 2 tackles and finally wrestled down. And as you mentioned, picking on Jordan Wright. Electric atmosphere here in Chantilly, Virginia. Handoff goes to Asante. Asante tries to get to the corner. Strong edge set by Centerville as he's brought down.
Big play by this defense on the 1st down. Centerville is great at responding to adversity. They always step up. After a big play, they never give up a second big play, which says a lot about their team. But right now, it's just those penalties and not being able for their offense to get going. This defense is truly playing great.
DeAndre Edmonds, Kerry Dickinson among the players who were there to bring down Asante. Interesting formation here. It's now Wildcat look. Taylor Morin is in the backfield. Flanked by Asante. Handoff to Asante right up the middle, and Asante with some room to run picks up about 6.
Making up for that play he did before, being able to pick up some good yardage on this 2nd down. But Taylor Morin, what more can we say about him? He is able to just get it done in a variety of ways, that time in the Wildcat.
They'll keep him out there. Taylor Morin is the guy, the trigger man in for Noah Kim. Flanked by Asante. This time he'll keep it, but he's brought down. Nick Kuzemka. Is there to bring down Morin.
Real conservative call by these Wildcats. Your defense been playing great all night, so you don't have to force anything, which is a great luxury to have.
Absolutely. Keep that clock running as we take another look here. See Taylor Morin fake the handoff, but Kuzemka and company are right there. And Noah Kim looked to fake to throw and instead gets off a punt that touches Westfield. They down it. Not a great punt there. It looked like Kim was in as a punter, tried to throw, tough angle, and not a great punt. It's about a 15-yard punt there.
Just the battle of field position, you still got them below the 30-yard line. So for this Westfield defense, for this Westfield team, you have to feel like that it is a win.
So Centerville takes field, their offense. 11 seconds left in the third quarter, and at this point, going to have to take some shots here in order to get the ball down the field. It's like all 11 men in the box. The handoff will go to Gene, and Gene's tripped up. And that should take us to the end of the third quarter. Here on DMVSTREAM.com, Westfield leading Centerville 14-0. We'll be right back with the start of the fourth quarter after this.
At DMVSTREAM.com, we use state-of-the-art live streaming and video production tools to create an unparalleled viewing experience from local sporting events. Whether we're using our 12-foot HD broadcast production truck or employing one of our state-of-the-art fly pack kits, our broadcasts always include multiple camera angles, instant replay, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. DMVStream.com, the Mid-Atlantic's leader in sports video, broadcasting, and live streaming. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVStream.com. That's DMVStream.com.
Mike's on when you're ready. Welcome back. Yosef Nasser here alongside Brandon Green. 14-0 is the score. The start of the fourth quarter. Centerville with the ball at their own 24-yard line.
Yeah, it's better, but yeah, I don't know. Just keep doing your thing.
Ramos in the backfield. Egbers throws high.
Throwing into triple coverage right there. I know you have to get something going, but you don't want to take a chance and just end this game at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Bodies all around defensively there for Westfield. Egbers was targeting, looked like he's targeting this man, Nick Zizer on the play. So we take a look. We've talked about it all night, Brandon. Westfield has beaten Centerville each of the past 3 seasons. And unless Centerville catches a few breaks here, it looks like it's going to be a 4th straight season.
And that shouldn't be a knock on the Centerville team. These Westfield Bulldogs have not lost a game. They are 31-0.
Egbers takes the snap. He's going to tuck. He's going to throw. That's one short. What an adjustment. And the referee saying the ball hit the ground. That was nearly a big play there by Carrington Nickenzizer. Couldn't come up with it.
Needed that play, Yosef, because now it's 4th down and you're giving it right back to these Westfield
Take
Bulldogs.
another look here. So Egbers going to take the snap and evade pressure. A little too short. I thought it was going to get picked initially. Take a look. Ball in the air. 2 defenders. Nick and Zizer.
It would slip right through his hands. Great call by the referee.
The punt team is on. It's a big kick there by Nick Anderson. On the return is Sadiq Hinton. Hinton has the right side. Sadiq Hinton gets a block. And Sadiq Hinton takes it inside the 20-yard line, setting up Westfield with good field position here in the fourth quarter.
That's how you run a kickoff. That's how you run a punt back. Great acceleration, being able to get to the outside, but there is a flag on the play.
You mentioned it there, Brandon. Flag on the play. Sadiq Hinton, of course, a second-team All-Region punt returner. And it's going to be against Westfield, so that return will not stand.
Great effort by Sadiq, though, just being able to break it to the outside like he did. Unable to score, but now for this Westfield offense, let's see if they're just going to run the ball and just try to be conservative right now and just try to get something going.
That's right, Brandon. Westfield seems like they can do whatever they want with the way that their defense has been able to corral Centerville. Isaiah Daniel is the back. Clancy and Goodman, tight end and fullback, respectively. Zet Woodley and Morin in the slot. Quick pass to Morin. Morin slips off of his fingers.
And one name we haven't heard a lot of in the second half or at all is Bizette Woodley right now, Joseph. 0 catches in this half, had 2 in the first half. I think it's more of Centerville being able to blanket him with that safety over top. And now for this Westfield team, you don't need to force it. You don't have to go down the field. You could just run the ball or try to get it to Taylor Morin in the slot like they just did.
Certainly tried to take away Bizette Woodley. But with a single high look, maybe they take a shot here. Hand off to Daniel instead, right side. Daniel has some blocks and picks up about 6.
That's a nice pickup, going to make it a nice 3rd and short for this offense. Something manageable just to keep that clock rolling, keep this drive alive.
Isaiah Daniel leads the Bulldogs in rushing. 502 yards, 5 touchdowns on the season. His biggest game of the season came against Stonewall Jackson, where he had 154 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And Joseph, you can't forget that he plays basketball as well. And you can see his vision. He plays guard for the Bulldogs, him being able to hit those holes.
Hand off again to Daniel, and Daniel brought down immediately. It's going to be short of first down yardage. And you talk about playing basketball, and we see the influences, how one sport helps the other. A lot of these receivers at the line of scrimmage use crossover type moves. We've seen, of course, tight ends in the NFL who've played college basketball. Certainly a big, there's some skills that translate within both sports.
Yeah, and one of the big thing that translates is the footwork, being able to make those cuts. Everything is the same. You have to be able to get your feet under you and just make those plays.
Punting team is on the field for Westfield. Nugent, bobbling. The snap is bobbled. Nugent drops it, and it looks like Westfield's able to fall on it. That's going to be a turnover.
Another huge break for this Centerville team. They've been able to force turnovers, and now they force a turnover on downs. They're going to be in good field position. It's just, are they going to be able to execute?
Let's take a look at the replay, and that was not a great snap. Nugent had a tough time handling it, able to fall on the football, but still Centerville ball. Good field position here for the Wildcats.
And if there's any time for your offense to wake up and score, this would be the time. I'm looking for a big play. I want to see a lot of Jordan Wright. Just get it into your best playmaker's hands.
Jordan Wright lined up in the slot. Ramos in the backfield. Egbers takes the snap, fakes it to Ramos. Rolling right. He's going to throw this one short. That's Kalen Jean, who has the first down and more.
Great play by Egbers, but there is another flag on the play, Joseph.
It's been the story of the game, Brandon. Another flag in the area of holding.
Illegal forward pass. It looked like Egbers was beyond the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely right, Brandon. And looked like Egbers did cross that line of scrimmage. And that pass to Jean, he's going to move backwards. It's been the story of the game here for Centerville offensively. It's interesting, Brendan, we were talking about basketball and some of the parallels. Interestingly enough, Chris Haddock, three-sport athlete at Chantilly High School, actually played basketball. One of the sports he played, as Egbers takes the snap and is going to pass this one short to Jordan Wright. His team actually upset, his basketball team actually upset Grant Hill South Lakes team in the playoffs his senior year. So just a fun note there in the Northern Region playoff game. It's a story he's going to be telling for the rest of his life.
especially when you get one over on the Hall of Famer Grant Hill.
Grant Hill, of course, a tremendous player at Duke. Had a nice career in the NBA, playing for the Detroit Pistons, Orlando Magic, Phoenix Suns, LA Clippers. Ramos in the backfield. Handoff goes to him. Ramos makes the man miss. Going to pick up about 3.
You're going to need a big chunk play on this drive, something just to get the momentum going, because the short passes are nice, but now you need those big plays.
3rd and 13. Certainly do need a big play here to keep this drive going, and you have to think that this is 4-down territory for the Wildcats. 3 receivers at the bottom of your screen. Egbers in the shotgun. Takes the snap. Egbers is going to step up in the pocket, and he's brought down. That's Max Hyakpo.
I thought Egbers stepped up a little bit too early in the pocket. I know the rush is coming. I know it seems like it's closing in fast, but you just have to keep your composure and just try to get the ball down the field.
Clock is ticking, under 8 minutes to go in the game, and Centerville's out there to go for it. 4th and 11.
Now you're forced to get the ball down the field. So the Bulldogs know that. Let's see if they just sit back in coverage, or do they bring that pressure?
Jordan Wright flanking Egbers in the shotgun. Egbers takes the snap, rolling to his left. Egbers gets a block there. He's going to throw this one up. It's Gene, but it's broken up. Taylor Morin, the Wake Forest commit, was there.
Great coverage by this Westfield defense, being able to get pressure with 4 people, force Egbers out of the pocket, and then that's just a tough throw. It was going to be a tough catch as well.
And once again, Westfield coming up with a stop on 4th down. They'll get the ball on their own 41-yard line. Looks like Eugene Asante is down on the sidelines. He's back up, and it's to be all right.
Looks like they're calling over the trainer for Eugene on the sidelines.
He's motioning at his arm. Kim is going to throw this one to Woodley. A flag is down.
He made that catch with a man on his back, Joseph, and his teammate running the exact same route in front of him. Great concentration by Woodley.
It's funny, you said earlier, at 17, 6'4" size, looks a little like Alshon Jeffrey out there. Other guy, big guy, there's number 17, Devin Funchess for the Carolina Panthers. Big body receivers who can make plays in traffic.
I think that's a call on Taylor Morin. It looked like he was blocking before Bizette caught the ball, but for this Westfield offense, being able to get the ball down the field has been a key for them all season. They've been passing more than they ever have, it seems like, this season. And when you have weapons like a Bizette Woodley and a Noah Kim, I would do it as well.
It's going to be a 15-yard penalty, block in the back from Morin. They'll set Westfield up at their own 25-yard line. First and 25, I formation for the Bulldogs. Hand off to the up back, Sean Goodman, and Sean Goodman picks up some nice yardage there, pickup of about 9.
That's all you want. Just keep this game as short as it can possibly be.
At some point, have to think Centerville is going to use their timeouts to stop this clock here. It'll be 2nd and 16 for Westfield, ball on their own 32-yard line. Morin comes in motion. Kim will throw up for Woodley. It's too far in front. Nick Anderson was closing on the play.
Just not able to connect. But what surprises you about Bazette Woodley is when someone is 6'4", the speed that he has to outrun these smaller cornerbacks is amazing. Even on that play, he's able to outrun the cornerback. It's just Noah Kim led him a little bit too much.
Interesting decision there by Westfield, opting to throw instead of run down some of this clock. It's 3rd and 18 now for Westfield. Woodley and Morin at the top of the screen. Noah Kim, pressure in his face, going to throw this out to Goodman, Sean Goodman. And ball's loose. It's loose again, and looks like Gavin Kiley covered it.
Wow, what an opportunity for these Centerville Wildcats. That ball gets slippery when it's fumbled now, and it slipped right out of his stomach, right into the stomach of this Westfield team.
Let's take another look at the replay here. See the pressure in the face of Kim. He floats this out for Goodman. Loses the ball. Looked like Jordan Wright was in there to force the fumble. Centerville defender, it looks like Nickens Iser tried to get it, but Gavin Kiley was there to recover.
Great play by Taylor Morin to push down on the person who had the ball and just punch it out of there.
I formation here for Westfield. Handoff goes to Daniel. Daniel, tough to bring down. He'll pick up about 2.
That play could have changed the momentum of this game, Yosef.
And instead, Westfield gets the ball inside their own 30-yard line. A tough break there for Centerville.
But Centerville is still alive in this one if they get a stop right here, and then their offense is able to score quickly. But first it's trying to stop this rushing attack of the Westfield Bulldogs, excuse me.
Morin alone at the top of the screen. I formation for Westfield. Kim is going to look deep for Morin. It was thrown over his head.
It's surprising me how still aggressive this Westfield team is. That's 2 passes trying to attack that left side of Centerville, and that's the side they've been attacking all night long with Jordan Wright over there.
Nickens Iser was on the coverage there. Nick Anderson closing from his free safety position. Now Bazette Woodley at the top of the screen. 3rd and 9. Kim, handoff, Isaiah Daniel, and he stood up. And just like you said, Brandon, Centerville able to force a 4th down. We'll see. It seems like Westfield has gone for it every time when they're faced with a 4th down situation, and looks to be the case here as Kim receiving the play call from the coaching staff.
You're in a position of strength right now if you're Westfield, because you're up by 2 scores. It's under 5 minutes. So going for it on this 4th down would not be that big of a risk, especially the way your defense is playing.
Timeout called by Westfield here, leading 14-0 with 4:27 remaining on the game clock. 4th and 9. Ball on their own 25-yard line, and it's been a tale of 2 teams here. One team executing at high efficiency. Centerville, every time they have an opportunity, we saw it right there with an opportunity. It looked like Goodman had fumbled. Centerville had an opportunity to fall on the ball. Instead, the presence of mind of Taylor Morin, poke it out, and Gavin Kiley to fall on top of it. And again, well, it's a 4th and 9 here for the Centerville defense. Another tough break.
Yeah, and that's just the championship pedigree that this Westfield team has. It's just their composure. They were the team that was calmer in this game. They were the team that made the right plays. Even though they turned the football over, they still stopped Centerville in the red zone. So they've been making those plays, and that's just the mark of a champion, Yosef.
You talk about that championship pedigree. 3 state championships the past 3 years. They're on a 31-game win streak, looking to extend that to 32 with a win here today. Won 5 Virginia State championships since 2003. That's tied with Phoebus down in Hampton, Virginia for most during that stretch. I formation here. Noah Kim's going to drop back. He's going to throw this up. Back shoulder for Woodley, and Woodley's able to get the feet in bounds. First down, Bulldogs.
What a beautiful pass by Noah Kim, and what a route by Bazette Woodley. Joseph, we were here early in the year, and they scored a touchdown against South County off that same play, the same exact play, back shoulder fade to Bazette Woodley.
Let's take another look at the replay here. Centerville's going to send pressure, but you said it, Brandon. Bazette Woodley may have pushed off a little bit, but the ability, that timing to get that back shoulder throw down, good play there. Woodley again, top of the screen, but the ball's going to go to Goodman. Goodman is brought down.
That was such a big play for this Westfield team, just to pick up that first down, and now you're in position to go up 21-0 and just put a stranglehold on this game.
Seems like in critical situations, Bazette Woodley with his size at 6'4" is the go-to guy on the perimeter for this Bulldog team.
We compared him to Alshon Jeffrey, and that is exactly what the Eagles do. Big play, big spot in the game. They go to Alshon. No different for Bazette.
No coincidence, Brandon and I are both Eagles fans talking about Alshon Jeffrey here on the broadcast. Going up for Woodley, and Woodley, what a grab! Flag on the play, but
wow.
In the meantime, Bazette Woodley.
Wow.
Waiting on the call.
The ability to go over the defender and just take it off his back shoulders. Wow. What a play by Bazette Woodley. What strong hands, and what a player.
See the replay there, catching the ball over Jordan Wright, and it's confirmed a touchdown, 20-0 for Westfield, and that should be the dagger. And again, we look here, and Brandon, what do we see here?
We just see a young man making a grown man catch, going right over the defender. One-on-one coverage in the red zone. Big guy, big target. You can't leave your cornerback one-on-one on an island with Bazette Woodley.
Nugent puts through the extra point, and now it's 21-0 for Westfield. What an impressive drive, and time after time being able to convert on fourth downs, fourth and long. No challenge is too big for these Bulldogs.
And no challenge is too big for Bazette Woodley. Now that takes some playing right there, Joseph, being able to go over your defender. And we've seen him make plays like that all night long. 4th and 16, doesn't matter. Just throw it in the vicinity of Bazette Woodley. He's going to somehow come down with that football.
We saw the graphic earlier. He's got some interest. He's got an offer from Morgan State, but he's hearing from other schools as well, isn't he?
He sure is. He's hearing from JMU. Shout out to Derek and Nick on the staff. And then you got Villanova and Howard. Howard also offered Eugene Asante, so they could be teaming up for Howard if Howard ever offers Bazette Woodley.
Interesting enough, Noah Kim also getting some interest there from Howard, so it could be a dynamic trio there if all three elect to play down there at Howard. I believe Cam Newton's brother is the quarterback there, Kalen Newton, if I'm not mistaken.
Penalty was enforced on the kickoff, and now that special teams battle has been a topic of discussion all night for these Westfield Bulldogs. They are dominating special teams.
There's that call on Jordan Wright there trying to guard Woodley, and we see the Centerville faithful exiting the stadium. Kick is up and go through the back of the end zone.
And for Centerville right now, you just want to get something going. You want to be able to not come out of this game with pride, but you might see this Westfield defense somewhere down the line in the playoffs. So now it's time to see what plays actually work against them for next time.
Disappointing game here for Centerville, but as you mentioned, these teams may see each other down the line. Want to get a nice drive going here as we take a look at the upcoming schedule. Looks like they're going to drop this game against Westfield, so that would put them at 7-1. Games against Chantilly and Madison. Madison always a tough game. So Centerville, they've got their work cut out for them after a 7-0 start, but certainly a talented team.
Yeah, the season isn't over, Yosef. Games against Chantilly and Madison, you have to think for this Centerville team, those will be wins. So coming out of the season at 9-1, you'll still have a good seed in the playoffs.
Egbers handoff to Ramos, and he's brought down. Clancy was there, amongst others. Clock ticking.
Great game by this Westfield Bulldogs defense. This is a championship defense. They are true and tested. Morin in the backfield, Morin in that secondary. I mean, then you got Eugene Asante as a linebacker. Just at all levels, they just have players that could just make those plays.
Egbers, he's going to throw deep. Trying to get,
Out of bounds.
Pass was out of bounds going, looks like Jordan Wright. Both Morin as well as Hinton were there on the coverage. It'll be 3rd and 4 on Centerville 26-yard line. And down, you have to figure they're going to have to go to the air here. Handoff Ramos, right side, and instead Centerville decides to get the first down running the football.
You talk about the fight of this Westfield team. We've been talking about it all game. You have to look at their coach, Coach Sims. He battled throat cancer a couple years ago and beat it. So that just instills in your program what type of fight that you have for him to come out of that battle and still coach football and get this team to where they are today.
Coach Simmons got his coaching start. He was on the Lake Braddock staff from 93 to 99 as Egbers takes the snap. Egbers is going to throw this one short to Kalen Jean. Another flag comes out, and that Lake Braddock team that Coach Simmons was on the coaching staff with had the most wins in the 90s in the northern region state of Virginia. It's been on the coaching staff for Westfield since 2000. It's their defensive coordinator for a stretch of time. Took the head coaching job 2011 and hasn't looked back since. 3 state titles to his credit.
And what a great run for him at Westfield right now. As you mentioned, 3 state titles, 31-game win streak, and it looks like they're about to hold up here against an arch rival, which is setting them up for more success in those playoffs. But for this team, you have to take away from this game that their defense can hold their own against any offense in this Northern Virginia area, being able to, for right now, hold Centerville to 0 points.
Past 3 seasons, they faced Oscar Smith in the state championship, winning all 3 times, of course. 1st and 15 for Centerville. Westfield again comes up with a big stop. Jordan Wright, nowhere to run. Past the 2-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. Westfield leading 21 to nothing, and Centerville just running out the string here.
As you see, these Westfield Bulldogs are happy that their team is up right now as they're running around the football field and just having a good time. That's what it's all about.
One of the best fan bases in the area. As you can see, they've got their Westfield flags. A lot of excitement by that student section there. Handoff is to Ramos, right side. Ramos picks up about 4 on the run.
Just looks like Centerville is now just going to go conservative, just try to get this game over with and go home.
Certainly seems to be the case here. Under a minute now, 3rd and 12. I expect, as you mentioned, Centerville to just run out this clock and get out of here. Games against Chantilly and Madison. Madison is an interesting team. They played Westfield the closest and looks to do it here for this game. Madison talked about 17 to 15 loss, narrow loss to Westfield. The final seconds tick off here, 4th and 12.
Great game for these Westfield Bulldogs. They got it done at all three phases today. Even when their offense turned the football over, their defense was right there to pick them up. You can't say too much more about this Westfield team. We know what type of team they are. They are a championship-driven team. And right now, that championship pedigree and that championship mindset was the difference for them in this one, because they were the ones that were calm, had that demeanor, and were able to get it done.
The final score is Westfield 21, Centerville nothing, and a statement win here for the Bulldogs in Fairfax County. Both teams came in with high hopes, but Westfield extends their 31 games winning streak. It now sits at 32 as the players show their sportsmanship. So for Brandon Green, Nick Yore, Brianna Hodges, Tori Gray, Andrew Walker, and our producer Derek Kramer, the entire team here at DMV Stream, I'd like to thank you. But first, final thoughts, Brandon, for this game.
Yeah, final thoughts for this game. This Westfield defense is real, shutting out the Centerville offense. And then for Centerville, it was more they beat themselves this game. It wasn't much that Westfield was doing. They just caused those penalties. You think back to that first drive in the game, they set themselves up for failure being inside their own 10-yard line. They were inside their 10-yard line, it seemed like, for the entire first half. So right now, this Centerville team, they have to take away from this game that they can play with this Westfield team, that they just have to shore up those little things and they'll be right there.
Of course, touchdown scored by Isaiah Daniel, the running back for Westfield. After the 4th down conversion for with Bazette Woodley, Kimda Woodley set up Joe Clancy 2 plays later with the 1-yard score, and of course Bazette Woodley making his presence known, interfered with by Jordan Wright, but still able to make the catch. Did not matter. So with this Westfield team, it seems like they should be in a good position to continue this winning streak. What do you expect to see out of them? What do you think they need to work on heading into this stretch run?
Yeah, it's just the little things for them. It's just the turnovers, but when you have a player like Bazette Woodley, you could just throw it up to him. We saw him make tremendous catches in this game. The one that really sticks out in my mind isn't the last one. It's the one on 4th and 16 when you needed to make a play. The game was still in balance, was still in the balance that at that point. So them being able to get him the ball and then him making those plays, he is a tremendous player.
There you have it, folks. Westfield able to extend its winning streak. It now sits at 32 as they beat Centerville 21-0 here in Chantilly, Virginia. For the entire team at DMVSTREAM.com, I'm Yosef Nasser. Thanks for watching.